Sagittarius, thank you for being here. I am doing a special reading that's more on the energy of love and values pertaining to relationships. That's because we are very much halfway through the Venus retrograde phase. So this is for any placement of Sagittarius, the usual, okay, that whatever you actually have come here for, but also for your North Node. I will say this, I've kind of mixed it up today because I am recording them now on different days, and I have here the Enlightenment deck, again by Chuck Spezzano. So if you maybe see Aquarius, Pisces, Scorpio and Gemini, they will have a different deck of cards that I've used for the reading. So again, if you've got any rising or any other elements like your North Node as well, do have a look. There could be a message there for you, but they're different cards. And for your sort of overarching card or a nice sort of message card, I've got the Spirit Animal Wisdom card here already on the table. Okay, so let's have a look. So your first card here, wow, is very nice. I think for me, Sagittarius, you have decided to take leadership in your life. Okay, this is either a personal situation or in a work situation, or you're being embraced by the idea of taking charge, which is also really fantastic because of course this is very much a Leo energy as well. And I feel like in some ways, well, if this is a romantic relationship, this is about allowing yourself to be led as well, or if you're a man, maybe taking the lead. Okay, now when it comes to the relationship, you know, there's always a polarity. So whichever polarity you are, whether you're more feminine or more masculine, I will say this, in my experience of coaching people, particularly around relationships, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of kind of mixed feelings that come up, a lot of resentment and a bit of push and pull that happens, partly because how it starts off in the leading component, particularly with a lot of rules being broken in the modern day dating game, or getting together. I feel that somehow that there's a lot of big compromise where women have emasculated men and men also don't feel like men, and women also wanting to be led, but they've taken the lead. All right, so you take what you want from this, but I will say this, I feel it's better for you if you are wanting to take, this might trigger some people, and that's fine, you know, but there are certain things that really have a natural order of things, and I believe and feel very strongly that by allowing yourself to be led as women, that will also allow your feminine self to come out. Okay, I just drew up this card, so let me have a look. Okay, so yeah. Okay, now let's have a look at the second card here. Okay, now some of you here, right in the middle of this spread, we've got the heartbreak as well. So maybe some of you have just recently experienced some kind of divorce or some separation or some heartbreak. Okay, and maybe you led the heartbreak as well. Maybe you're the one who decided that you were leaving a relationship. You've had your values kind of checked. You've been checking in with yourself, and you're recognizing maybe certain things are not reconcilable. All right, so this is not going to speak to everybody, but let me have a quick look as well. All right, I feel like some of you have really been engaging. You've been engaging in the kind of higher guidance, if you like, and maybe possibly it was not an easy decision for you to come to, and this heartbreak could have been a long time coming. And I feel that in some way that by you taking the leadership, whoever this might be speaking to, you will actually allow yourself to be guided to a new path. All right, and also please do not let any heartbreak of the old story or narrative stop you from leading a life that is far more, if you see that there's an image there of sheep being guided, okay, and there's sort of deers in the foreground, they're sort of frolicking, a new freshness, a new joy. And in fact we can sometimes hold on to the component of separation and maybe even the argument of separation. I'm going to have a quick look at the bottom of the deck here. Yeah, some of you have reached a crossroads, okay, where you've had to make a decision, and maybe the decision did not come easy. That's because, of course, you know, no decision like this can be that easy, or perhaps you are not being able to see your way forward exactly, and you are maybe even choosing a path that you need to actually go through. But make sure that whichever path you decide to go down, it is a path that gives you the clarity and a sense of freedom. Okay, if you look at this image, there's two paths. There are rather various paths, but one is kind of more cold and barren, and the other one is much more luscious and full of natural growth. Okay, and I feel like this figure is right now stopped in its tracks and deciding what to do. So some of you actually could be in that situation where you're considering, and you can actually decide to really kind of figure out what is fulfilling. Is this staying where I am going to fulfill me, or do I need to move and be courageous to move into newer pastures? Okay, like I said, this choice factor could have been triggered by a breakup or heartbreak, or some infliction of heartbreak. Okay, or some of you could be recovering from a heartbreak and now making a choice of how you might move forward. Okay, but just trust that you are being guided, and if you don't know, sometimes it just really helps to ask to be led, all right, and to be led to where you need to go, and trust that whatever's happening is for your best higher self. Okay, I remember years ago when I was in a relationship and I really wasn't quite happy, but we were very much together and we had so many plans together, and it was quite difficult, and my prayer would always be, you know, please show me the way, what would be the most highest conducive move, you know, choice for me, or guide me, you know, let the truth be revealed. And in the end I did break up. You know, I broke off the relationship because I got to choose. I thought, do I go down a path that's always dark and difficult and full of arguments and full of, you know, lack of really our value systems were quite different, despite having expressed that right at the beginning of the relationship. But you know, I was convinced otherwise, went down a path, and I found that actually there wasn't much sort of joy, or there was a lot of arguments and lots of difficulty there for me. And he loved to be a social drinker, and I really didn't like that too much either. So that in the end actually clouded the situation, and I had to make a choice, an executive choice for myself, for my well-being and my happiness, and taking the leadership. So I think this might speak to some of you out there, Saggies, if you are going through the same thing. Now further down the bottom of the deck, I feel that some of you are carrying a burden of guilt, though you might feel guilty about creating a breakup, or maybe recognizing that you've been carrying a burden, and really you don't want to be carrying that burden anymore either. So really check in with yourself. This is not going to speak to everyone, but sometimes it's difficult to relationships because you feel bad about leaving, perhaps maybe breaking the family unit, or perhaps that you feel that, you know, your parents have invested so much time and money, maybe on the wedding or whatever it is, and so, you know, we can be holding on for the wrong reasons. Okay, so release the guilt, right? Because you are worth, you know, this is about somebody who feels very small. So again, if you're in a relationship where there's a sense of being devalued, this is now a time, particularly with Venus retrograde, to recognize your value, not only in yourself in the relationship, but also what you have to offer in a relationship as well. And if your needs are not being met, make sure that you do communicate it. All right, so I'm getting confused with the cameras. All right, because within the communication there could be some healing as well. I feel for some of you there could be some correspondence back and forth as well, possibly to do with a separation, maybe a divorce, or maybe even communicating your truth and reconciling, maybe coming from the heart. Okay, now for me, reconciliation, what I'm getting is there's a sense of reconciliation that could happen by actually being honest and actually recognizing your value and who you are and how you want to be in a relationship, and that makes you feel coming from the heart. And when we do that, actually, when we start taking clear leadership in our lives, we tend to feel again a sense of closeness again with the person that we're dealing with, even if we're breaking up with them, because what we've done is we've come back into our hearts, we've dropped into our hearts and made the you know, sort of gained the clarity and communicated what is important. Okay, so for some of you as well, by communicating what's important, you're able to actually upscale the relationship again and perhaps reconcile from the heartbreak. All right, this is going to speak to every one of you slightly different. There's so many possible scenarios here, especially in the background scene here. Because yeah, you just got to get over your sort of old narrative story. All right, I'm not going to go too far into it because these readings are not designed to you know, be over long, and I want to keep it within the 20-25 minute structure at the most. So let's move on and see what card of the animal wisdom you've got. Well, this is so amazing. Okay, so here you've got the frog. which I love, okay, because it is stepping into your power, which is very much the Leo energy, okay, which also brings me to the leadership card here as well, all right, because here we see that in order to step into your power, you've got to take the leadership, and sometimes leaving and having a strength in leaving a relationship, or taking the lead and deciding what it is you really clearly want and getting the clarity on, is stepping into your power. It says, don't take a back seat in your story. It's time to step it up, okay? And also the frog metaphor, the frog archetype, right? It tends to leap forward. So this is also having a leap of faith, all right? And being really clear in what you actually want to create, okay? And as it says, stepping up your game, and certainly stepping into your power. So hopefully this will be speaking to somebody. So, you know, drop the guilt, make sure that your choices are coming from a place of empowerment as well. Always, you know, and this is a really good question to ask. Is this an empowered choice? Will I be empowered making this choice, or will this empower me? Okay, so that helps sometimes, you know, to ask yourself that question. If I do take this action, you know, and make sure it's, again, not coming from the ego. So, you know, if you're sort of being revengeful, you know, towards maybe, I don't know, a third party situation, or some situation, maybe you just want to get back at your guy or your gal for hurting you, or feeling hurt about the breakup, or some kind of situation, all right? If you're consciously, deliberately going to hurt that person, that's not a powerful choice. Okay, it's coming from a disempowered choice, because you're not feeling powerful in the truth of the matter, and you're actually engaging in something kind of less powerful, really, less negative. Not less negative, so more from the negative, okay? Trust that you are going to be guided with your higher mind, though, all right? Anytime you need to make a choice and you're not sure where you want to, how things are going to result, it is really important that you ask for guidance. You're never on your own. All right, now I'm going to move on to the chakra spread. So let's have a look, Sagittarians. Let's have a look and see what chakra card will be most helpful for you at this time. I mean, it could end up, of course, you know, an empowering choice would come from the solar plexus, but there could be another element of chakra that could really help you at this time. So let's have a look. Okay, truth. Now, I love this card as well, and this is to do with your throat chakra. All right, now if you see there are two scales, one with a fire and one with water as well. And this is the kind of the alchemist as well, and to speak from your emotions and speak of it truthfully as well, okay? And when you start engaging from the truth, you really cannot go any wrong. You know, sometimes we sort of we go round in circles when we speak to another person, because we're afraid of hurting them without actually even coming out with the truth. You know, and truth really is a powerful healer, not only for yourself, but for others. And again, with this communication card, you see, because in this card, if you see the communication, they're hugging each other. There's a sort of sense of unification. All right, some of you could actually save the relationship from a potential heartbreak, because you've been brave enough to actually put things out on the table and speak your truth. All right, for me, that is a very, very, here's your throat chakra for some of you. All right, and I've said this before and I'll say it again, it is the most creative and powerfully creative chakra to have, all right, because it's really important that when we start speaking our truth without any fear, or when we're willing to actually face our truth as well and express it from the heart, so it's actually, you know, sort of together combined, you can't actually lie, all right, because there's more power in the truth of communication. I'm going to have a quick look to see if there's anything in this book that I can help you with. So let's have a look. So it is a throat chakra. I live and listen to my truth in each moment. Okay, I live and listen to my truth each moment. So again, for some of you here, if you're not listening to your truth, all right, if you're sort of talking yourself down by saying, oh no, I better not, I'm not going to get another opportunity, I'm getting too old now for me to move on from this relationship, or I've been here for, I don't know, X amount of years and I've put so much time in, and it's the but, you know, that really also is when you're not owning and living your truth. Okay, so wherever you are, this could be also to do with employment for some of you. All right, because all our life, the whole of our life is about relationships, relating to another, relating to possible clients, relating to a new a group of people or a situation. It's often really important that you don't dodge the truth and make choices from the truth of your self-expression. All right, and you'll find that you probably get a lot more support than you thought possible. Okay, so I think what the next card I would like to go to is, for the others, I was doing a love, whispers of love. Am I getting that one? Yeah, I am actually getting this one. So let's have a look. Okay, so let's have a quick shuffle. I have shuffled these before I put them back in the box. But Sagittarius, let's see if there's a whispers of love card that I can choose for you. This one. Okay, back to what you love. Reevaluate your choices. Brilliant. Okay, so again, this really supports this card about choices. And if you notice, this card is actually a healing card, right? When we start really sort of evaluating our choices and making a conscious choice to choose what's going to fulfill us, okay, it really helps us to sort of connect to what we desire and our truth as well. So it says back to what you love and reevaluate your desires. Okay, and again, sometimes you can really ask yourself this really honest question: do I feel fulfilled in this relationship, or do I feel fulfilled in this job? And if you can honestly say a wholehearted 100% yes, or a good percentage up, then obviously stay in it. But if you're looking at 60 down percent, and it's all kind of murky and stuff, you're not following the path of light there, where you can actually have much more joy in your life and where things are much more fulfilling. So do evaluate for some of yourselves as well. If you're not actually doing that, ask yourself these very important questions, all right, because it will put you back on track and it will take you to the path of joy. So Sagittarius, I am going to leave it here, or Sagittarians, I am going to leave it here. I hope you got something from this reading. I want to thank all the new subscribers. I seem to have had an influx of new subscribers, and I'm very pleased, to say the least, because I hope that this is clearly speaking to people if you're listening to it, and it's having some, I won't say impact, but basically speaking to you, which is what the intention of these videos are. It's to empower you, to inspire you, and to actually sort of lead a liberated life, as well as a life of joy. Okay, lots of love. I'll catch you in my next video. Thanks for watching and thanks for listening. Bye for now. Subscribe. Thanks. Bye.